Thank you.
This is a KTVB News Group special presentation.
Hello, I'm Bill Schauber, the Executive Director of the 19th Annual Boise Veterans Parade. Today, we pause to recognize and honor our nation's heroes, the men and women who have served valiantly while answering our nation's call. The theme of this year's parade is Letters from Home. Handwritten letters may seem like an old-school way of communicating. However, for generations, they were a lifeline connecting service members to their families and friends at home. Families treasure these personal letters because they're filled with amazing stories, emotions, and first-hand accounts of life in the armed forces during times of war and peace. It's our hope these letters are preserved and shared so future generations may learn of the sacrifices our veterans and families have made to ensure our freedom. On behalf of our sponsors and the Parade Organizing Committee, welcome to the 2019 Boise Veterans Parade.
And good morning. Welcome to this year's Boise Veterans Parade. Proud to be here with you this morning. I'm Kim Fields alongside Joe Paris.
It is a crisp start to our Saturday morning with the excitement. You can feel it, Kim. I know there's a lot of people down here in downtown ready to pay tribute to our veterans. And of course, our Larry Gabbert, he's also on the parade route standing by for us this morning. Larry, good morning.
Good morning, Joe, and good morning, Kim. And I'm standing here with one of the folks who really kind of helps, but it's the organization that helps bring all of this about. It's Albertsons. This is John Colgrove with Albertsons. And I know that Albertsons is a long-standing tradition of not just veterans and saying thank you to veterans, but really just being a part of the community.
Absolutely, and this is a great opportunity for us to thank those great men and women that fight for us and make this such a great country and a great community that we live in.
I mean, I think it just really just makes everybody feel so much better when we know that we have the support of people from the community to come together to really be a part of this. And I know that you never shy away from that. It's always something that is just, it's part of the beginnings of Albertsons.
Yeah, you know it is, and that's something that Joe Albertson stood for 80 years ago when he opened up his very first store, giving back to the community, giving back to those that make such a big difference and help make this such a great community.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, and veterans really touch everyone. You know, I mean, I've got a son that was a veteran, my dad was a veteran, I have a brother who's a veteran. I know that you've got family members, and it's always a good time to remember. I mean, that's what all of this is about, is remembering and saying thank you. And this is a day when you get a chance to actually say thank you directly to veterans.
Boy, it is, and this is an opportunity for us to be involved in this. We are so honored to be here to salute and to thank these the veterans that take care of us, Larry.
Yeah, and it's always kind of nice when the sun comes out on a day like today.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the community itself and the way the community comes together. I just love seeing all the people who line up for these events too.
Yeah, you know, and it's going to be great. A lot of people are already down here, and you can just feel the vibe in the air, and it just, God, it's just so, it's really emotional. It's touching. It's great to be here.
It is. Well, John, thank you very much. I'm going to let you take your seat. We're going to go back to Kim and Joe.
Well, Larry, John, you and John said it best. It is a morning for us to pay tribute, to thank, and to remember all of those who have served our great country. I have some letters from home in our family, and we cherish those, reading them and remembering the service that my grandfather made for this country.
And it really is a special morning for the veterans in our community and all the veterans watching at home, maybe inside the state of Idaho, but around the country. We thank all of our veterans that have served.
So sit tight. We have about 90 minutes worth of parade to bring you this morning, but first we begin with this. We're ready to start our special ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Command Sergeant Major retired Phil Hawkins. I'd like to welcome you to the 19th Annual Veterans Day Parade. Please rise for the presentation of the colors. Remain standing for the invocation by Commander Mitch Moore, United States Navy retired, and the singing of our national anthem by Sergeant First Class Krista Fletcher of the National Guard. Commander Moore.
Our Father in heaven, we humbly come before thee this day as we celebrate this Veterans Day. To all those men and women and their families who have served this country today and in the past, we're grateful for this beautiful day thou hast blessed us with. We're grateful for our participants, and we ask you to watch over and protect them. We're grateful for the parade committee who's organized this event for us. We're thankful for all those organizations that continue to support the military in our communities. We ask you to help us in our endeavors to help our veterans, those who are ailing. Help us so we continue to support them. We're grateful for this great nation, which we have privilege to live in. We ask you to bless our leaders, that they will continue to guide us and help protect the freedoms that we enjoy. We dedicate this parade to thee, and we say these things humbly. In the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. At this time, we would ask Christy Fletcher to please sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
For those of you who would like to sit down, you may do so. Keeping with the theme of today's parade, Letters from Home, I'd like to introduce Mr. Nick Roberts and Rebecca Mitchell to perform Letters from Home and the Front.
Dearest Mother, this is just a little Christmas note, Mother. I wish I could send you a gift, but I know that you understand. I have to pass up Christmas presents this year. I sent out about 150 cards. It's raining again. It rained for about 3 weeks, and then we had a day of relief, with the sun shining about an hour. And today it rained again. Great country, isn't it? We have been in camp for about 3 months now. Time flies, so that I hardly know where the days go. I am so busy that each day goes like a flash. I have not been in quarantine for any of the sicknesses that have hit some of the regiments. My outfit is a healthy one, and besides, you know that the engineers can't be bothered with sickness. You know, Mother, I am in the best branch of the Army. The engineer corps is the highest in the service. The stable sergeant and I have hit up quite a friendship. His name is Red Crawford, and he came to us from the regulars, the 7th Cavalry. The 7th Cavalry is Custer's old command. This fellow is a typical cavalryman. Just looks like one of Remington's pictures. He sure does love horses, of course. Oh, Mother, I wish I could be with you this Christmas. I'll miss you to beat the band. I carry your picture with me wherever I go, right over my heart. This country, if it grew flowers, I'd enclose a few, but all I can do, honey, is wish you a big Merry Christmas and a fine, Happy New Year. I hope that 1918 will see the war finished. I must stop now, dear. Remember me to all of my friends. Here's a hug and a kiss, little mother. And be glad with me that our family can do its little bit in fighting for right and humanity. That is why we are all here. Loads of love. Nelson.
My dearest boy, Christmas has come and gone, and now we are in a new year. You needn't fret over not sending me a gift, Nels. Your love and your frequent letters are a greater gift than any mother can desire. I did receive one of the Christmas cards you sent out. 150. My, that seems like a new record for you. I am so proud of you, son, for your service to our country. You mentioned that you were getting a lot of rain there in Camp Lewis. How long is the rainy season up there? Does it rain often? I almost forgot to ask, did you receive the box of goods I sent? I hope they arrived before Christmas. I'm sure you know I baked the cake myself. Your sister helped me with the jam. It's your favorite fruit, strawberry. It must be exciting to find such a good friend who served in the famous 7th Cavalry. Give Red my best and ask him to watch out for my boy for me. It warms me to know you keep a picture of me close to your heart, Nelson. The picture you sent of yourself in uniform in front of that big tree in camp sits upon the mantel where I gaze upon your smile while I sit in my rocker and knit you more socks. I must close for now, son. Stay safe, Nelson, and remember that we are all so proud of you. Remain strong and remember us all as you go always forward in your service. With all of my heart, I love you, son. Mother. My dearest Nelson, I haven't heard from you in nearly 5 months, so I thought I would write again. When I think of you being in France, I worry terribly about the prospect of you having to fight on the front line in the trenches. We hear so little back home about the conditions on the battlefield, but one is able from time to time to hear chatter from those who know, and it just pains me deeply to think about my boy at war. I know you say that your being in the headquarters detachment will keep you far from the front, but a mother always worries. I just keep praying for you and trusting God to keep you safe. I have been a bit ill of late, but don't you worry. Your brother Gid and sister Isabel are taking good care of me. I am actually feeling better today than the past few, so I expect to be fine again soon. I'm sorry this note is so short. It seems I always have so much to say, but not the energy to get it all down on paper. Let me know how you are, Nels. Thank you so much for your frequent letters. It does a mother wonders to hear from her son. From my heart, I love you, Mother. P.S. I am enclosing the gloves you asked me to send you. Let me know of anything else you need. Do you need any money?
Dearest Mother, your good letter of the 24th came today, and it sure made me happy. I have 2 letters of yours here to answer. The times I get to write are so irregular. We have been awfully busy lately. Everybody is putting on extra steam. It doesn't seem like wartime here. I mean, I can hear the birds singing, the hens cackling, and every once in a while an old rooster stretches his neck and crows. It's just like it was years ago when we lived out in the country. The chickens speak the only language I understand here. They cackle and crow in good old United States. Of course, Mother, there is a serious side to this party, but I never worry about that. I am ready for whatever it might be. If I should die, I am even ready for that. I've thought it all out, and I'm not afraid. But way down inside, I know I'll come back safe and sound. Mother, you don't know how proud I am of you. You are the ideal American mother. It's the mothers who are doing their bit in a time like this. And when all mothers look at the things the way you do and send us away with a smile, it just makes me want to strut around to realize that my mother is a real fighting American mother. I sure have a lot to fight for in you. I feel just as you do that I am in the keeping of God, our God, and that He will look after me and guide me over here, just as He has back home. So, honey, we'll just feel good about my going. Glad that you and I, who have always been proud we are Americans, can have me go over and do my little part in ridding the world of a curse. No, Mother, I don't need any money. I get paid in about a week and I'm fine. Thanks for sending my gloves. I will get 5 different kinds from the government, but when I doll up, I can't wear them. They're for work. That's why I asked for my old ones. I must stop now. Taps just sounded. Loads of love and kisses to you all. Your boy, Nels.
My dear boy Nelson, I know it takes some time for our letters to get to you overseas, so I want to write you a quick note and get it on its way to you as soon as possible. Your dad and I received your letter dated August 25th, only 2 days ago. Your words leave me both beaming with love and pride, but also with worry in my heart. Your description of where you are staying was beautiful, especially your genuine heart and the humor you always seem able to bring to any set of circumstances. I know you wish me not to worry about you, Nels, but how can a mother not worry, even feel sick with worry, when her son speaks to her of dying? Certainly we are proud of your resolve, but far be it from a parent to ever be at ease with the prospect of losing their child to the throes of war. However, I must trust both in God and you that indeed you will return to us safe and sound. And regardless, we will live out our lives knowing that our eldest son did his share to keep all of us in possession of our freedom. I will end for now, as I want this letter to be off to you as soon as I can get it posted. May God watch over your every step, Nelson. Keep Him close as you go forward. With my deepest love and pride, your loving mother.
Dear Dad, most of my letters home have been to Mother, but this one is to you. Just a boy's letter to his dad. And every line is full of love for you. Right here I am damn near babbling. Not the baby kind, Dad, just tears of joy that I am able to have a dad, and that I am here, safe and sound. That I have been able to represent you in the American Army, and above all, that our cause has triumphed. That America, God's country, has stepped in and stopped this slaughter of men, dishonoring of women, and destruction of property. It is a wonderful thing to have helped a little bit in it. About 5 months ago, you told me goodbye. It was to be my big adventure, but now we have had our problem and we have come through. Peace is assured, and when the time is right, we will all come home. Then I want to settle down and have a home of my own. I have learned to appreciate a home and its blessings. I have been under fire, through a little bit of hell, and have taken chances. I have seen our dead sprawled along the roadside as my outfit went to the line, making us all tighten our lips and grip harder our guns, not knowing what the morning had for us. I have heard our wounded cry out in their pain and have had to listen powerless to help. I've had to camp and eat my meals in fields of dead horses when the stench was bad. Peace is what we fought for, what those boys died for, and that is the big thing. So I am happy and satisfied. My bit was small. I feel like a piker when I think of what the others did, but it was to turn out this way. God has been good to me. Now, when I get home, I will try to live a good life and finish my span as I should. I have kept clean and can come home and look you and mother in the eye unashamed. I have tried to be a worthy representative of my family. The place I am writing in is unique. I wish you could be here with me. It is Sunday morning, and 4 of us are in a little French roadhouse, waiting for the madame to serve us a meal. On the wall is a big war map, showing the fronts as they were. 2 or 3 little dots are on it. Towns that mean nothing to the casual observer, but bring back memories for me. For they are the places we took from the squareheads, and the days I was there was full of excitement. On a big case back of me is a small American flag, that for which we are here. It's a funny place, this one. One of many that I have spent homesick hours in. It's a great thing to be an American. America is the wonder place of the world. When I get home, the goddess of liberty will never see me again lest she turn her back upon the sea. I'll stop now, Dad. I hope you are feeling the best ever, and I'm wishing you the biggest and happiest Merry Christmas you ever had. And may God bless you. You were the best dad a fellow ever had. Take care of Mother for me, and kiss her for me, Dad. Yours, Nelson.
Please give them a big round of applause. Wasn't that exciting and wonderful? That should bring back memories to us all. We all have stories of those letters, I'm sure. At this time, we will ask Colonel Morse to now will give us the benediction, if you would, sir.
I'm over here, Sergeant Major.
Huh?
I'm over here.
Oh, Washington.
Eyes left. Good morning. Thank you for being here today. Would you please join me in your faith tradition as I pray in mine? Almighty Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, a day of beauty, a day of brisk, a day of celebration as we remember the men and women worthy of this day of celebration. We thank you for their service to our great state and our wonderful country. Because of men and women like them, this truly is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Father, I ask now that your presence would bless this time, this parade, and may it draw us close together as a community in remembrance of the great things that duty, honor, and sacrifice can provide. We ask this in the blessed name of your Son. Amen.
Honor guard! Post!
Fighter Wing is opening the parade this morning. Again, the flyover by 2 A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft.
And you can hear them before you see them. This is the 25th Army Band that is marching down right in front of the Capitol. The band is led by the commander, Warrant Officer Shad Fraser. Now, this band was originally organized in the fall of 1925 as the band section, headquarters at the 116th Cavalry Brigade Combat Team, which was the largest formation of the Idaho Army National Guard. It was located in Caldwell. And a little history for you, this band was actually activated for a period of 5 years during World War II. They served in France, and in 1954, the 25th Army Band was again activated for federal service and stationed at Camp Kilmer, New Jersey.
They played a weekly radio show which aired for 10 years. The band returned to Caldwell in 1956 and resumed National Guard status. And in 1988, the band moved to Gowan Field in Boise, where it's currently based, and performs regularly in the Treasure Valley. Let's send it to Larry, who's alongside the Grand Marshal of this year's Boise Veterans Parade.
Yeah, I am. I'm out here with Dan Corral, who is the Postmaster General for the Boise area. Did it surprise you when they asked you to be the Grand Marshal?
It was a big surprise and really just a great honor. I had to take a step back and ask why.
And the answer is obvious. I mean, the theme was letters from home. Yes. If it wasn't for the Postal Service, there would be no letters from home.
That is correct, and it's such a fantastic theme this year, and it just means so much and resonates with so many of us that are either veterans, service members, actively serving, and the families of those service members and veterans, and it's just a great tie-in.
I know you got your father with you, and he's a veteran as well.
Yeah, Dan Sr., he's retired postmaster and a retired senior master chief from the Navy.
Well, thank you for being out here today. Thank you for your service.
Very appreciate it.
Appreciate
it.
And good to meet your father as well. Thank you very much. All right. Kim, Joe?
All right, Larry, thank you very much. And right behind the Postmaster, Major General Michael Garshak and Chief Master Sergeant Hal Bon Jovi. Major General Garshak is the commanding general of the Idaho National Guard, and he's accompanied by the state senior enlisted leader of the Idaho National Guard. Again, that's Chief Master Sergeant Hal Bon Jovi. Thanks for joining us here this morning.
You can hear the roar of their engines. Joining us now, the Boise Valley POW MIA Association. They are dedicated to the awareness of the prisoner of war missing in action issue, and they raise funds for the POW MIA National League of Families and the Idaho State Veterans Home. They're guided and directed by the National League of POW MIA Families in Washington, D.C. There are 8 Idahoans missing from Vietnam, 23 from Korea, and 322 missing from World War II.
We're going to step aside, but you are watching the 2019 Boise Veterans Parade live from downtown Boise. We will be right back after this break.
Good morning and welcome once again to KTVB's live presentation of the Boise Veterans Day Parade.
And I know that our Larry Gebert, he is down on the parade route with Governor Dirk Kempthorne. Larry, we'll head to you.
Yeah, former Governor Dirk Kempthorne, former Secretary of the Interior. Good to see you out here today, sir.
Man, Larry, thank you so much. And to see all these folks out here honoring our veterans, it's outstanding.
It's good to have you back in the Gem State. You do get to come back periodically, don't you?
Well, our main residence is right here. And Patricia and all of our little animals, and then we got the grandkids now, which is awesome.
It's good to see you out here. I know you're still continuing to serve and you're still continuing to help people. But it's good to see you today, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, God bless you too and the veterans as well. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And it's important to note, Larry, that former Governor Dirk Kempthorne, he's the first recipient of the Zion's Bake Veteran Service Award here in Idaho. He was Idaho's governor from '99 to 2006. So thank you for your service, Governor Kempthorne.
The former governor riding in a bright, shiny red Corvette, and followed by that is the mobile bus from the Idaho State Veterans Home, proudly serving those who have served our nation. The veterans who reside at the Idaho State Veterans Home are proud to be here today. You may not see them, but they are inside that bus, and they love to see all the people here supporting our military services. A bus full of wonderful veterans.
And
they love to participate.
This is a special morning for them, Kim, because they get to see people that they don't usually get to see, and they get to talk about the old times. Really an important morning.
Want to make sure we highlight this man coming through now. World War II Merchant Marine Elmer Don Schuteres. He's now 91 years old, but he enlisted in the Merchant Marine at the age of 15.
And following behind the 1st Battalion, 148th Field Artillery, headquartered in Pocatello, with units in Blackfoot, Rexburg, Burley, and Idaho Falls. Soldiers in the unit operate the M109 howitzer, which provides artillery support. And this morning we're joined by the American Legion Color Guard from Post 39 in Middleton. Post 39 was actually formed back in 2008 and now has more than 100 members. The Color Guard performs firing salutes at funeral services as well as flag posting at area events.
The American Legion is celebrating 100 years. They were chartered and incorporated by Congress in 1919 as a patriotic veterans organization devoted to mutual helpfulness. It is the nation's largest wartime veterans service organization, committed to mentoring youth and sponsorship of wholesome programs in our community, advocating patriotism and honor, promoting a strong national security, and continued devotion to our fellow service members and veterans. 100 years for the American Legion Post.
How about the siren on that old-time fire truck?
I like it.
Well, they don't make them like they used to, Kim. Look at that thing.
I
the
love
wood ladders and everything.
I love that. Coming up behind the old fire truck is American Legion Post 113, based out of Meridian, serving veterans and youth programs. Again, as part of the American Legion's 100 years of service to our nation. Let's send it out to Larry, who's walking alongside the parade route with another special guest.
Yeah, I'm with Colonel. Is it Colonel Goodman?
Colonel Goodman
from the 366 Fighter Wing out of Mountain Home. It's great to have the support here today.
We're glad to be here. The gunfighters are proud to take part in this Veterans Day Parade.
Yeah, and actually, this is really, you're a big part of not only the military, of course, but even the benefit to Idaho, because there's a lot of training that actually happens right around this region, and Mountain Home's a big part of that.
Enormous amount of training, and Idaho is a great partner, and the people of Idaho are very supportive.
You know, and we have a very unique type of terrain, I guess you could say, so that for fighter pilots to be able to do some of their low altitudes, some of the precision maneuvers that they need to do, this state really bends itself well for that.
The state is incredibly supportive, and the Mountain Home Range Complex is an asset and a gem and a great place to train.
Colonel, it's good to have you here today. We appreciate you, and thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you so much. We're very proud to be a part of it, and thanks for your support, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Kim, Joe?
Thank you, Larry. Again, Colonel Goodman, the commander of the 366th Fighter Wing, based out of Mountain Home. One of those local bases here in Idaho. I know the Mountain Home base means so much to that community and really the state as a whole.
We love supporting our men and women, that's for sure. You're looking now at the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Department of Idaho Chapter 509. They are representing Idaho's recipients of the Purple Heart. This combined group of wounded veterans provide assistance to the veterans of our nation's armed services. Veterans helping veterans. Like to hear that old music.
Yeah, you like the old-time music and the old-time helicopter. You're taking a look live now at the Treasure Valley Detachment 878 of the Marine Corps League, a fellowship of camaraderie and brotherhood that is unlike any other veterans organization. The Treasure Valley Detachment joins together in camaraderie for preserving the traditions of the Marine Corps, made up of honorably discharged Marines, corpsmen, and chaplains who served with the Marine Corps. They also meet on Saturdays at 9 a.m. for coffee at Quinn's Restaurant on Vista Avenue here in Idaho's capital city. You see this funky car, I'll call it, Kim. You see this yellow old bus coming through. This is the Elmore County Amateur Radio Club. They're a nonprofit group of ham radio operators, and they're dedicated to assisting with emergency communications around Idaho and the nation. Today's tactical vehicle, an M1078. It's owned and driven by David Connie. Those amateur radios, they've got a lot of power. They can pick up a lot of signals.
All right, coming up behind that, the Wmia Foundation. Serving as a conduit, connecting wounded and injured veterans to their successful and fulfilling civilian futures through education, development, and guidance. They believe that by serving and sacrificing in the name of our safety and freedom, wounded veterans have earned the right, not to a handout, but to our very best efforts to assist them in purposing their commitment and hard work toward a successful and fulfilling civilian future. Wmya's motto, by the way, battle-tested, business-ready.
And the parade route now highlighted by the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1025. Thank you so much to all of the men and women that served our country during the Vietnam conflict. Your service means a lot to our country, and we could never say thank you enough. The Vietnam Veterans of America raise money to help local veterans in need, helping veterans, communities, and those serving in harm's way. Kim, I can't say enough. Thank you to our veterans that served in Vietnam.
We're going to take a quick commercial break right now. Stay with us. We'll be back with more of the Boise Veterans Parade right after this.
And welcome back again. We are out here for the Veterans Parade for the year, and of course I'm with Ride 22, Steve Exing, and your group is really about suicide prevention for veterans.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So what kind of what's the program like? What do you want veterans to know who might be finding themselves in a situation of crisis?
There is resources out there, not just the VA. There's so many local nonprofits in the Treasure Valley that help veterans to get through the stuff they need to get through. So we're out there.
And you're out there, and you're available.
100%.
And they can find you.
100%.
And you do motorcycle ride too.
Yes.
Yeah, when is that?
April 18th will be our 5th annual Veteran Suicide Awareness Ride.
Very good. Well, thank you for what you do to help veterans. We really appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ben. Kim, jump.
Well, Larry, speaking of helping vets, right behind is the Vet Center. And you're going to see them pass through the Capitol here in just a second. Actually, you might have just missed them, but I want to give them a special thank you. The goal of the Vet Center program is to provide a broad range of counseling, outreach, and referral services to eligible veterans in order to help them make a satisfying post-war readjustment to civilian life. So thank you so much for the Vet Center for being out here and joining us for the 2019 Boise Veterans Parade.
And we certainly thank our presenting sponsor this morning, Albertsons, helping us bring this to you, the Boise Veterans Parade. This year's theme, Letters from Home, a tribute to the support given to the soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines while they were away from home.
And a special shout out to the service academies representing here this morning. Of course, the men and women that attend those service academies go on to serve our country. And, of course, they always drop a lot of excitement on Saturday mornings for those college football rivalries.
Yeah. Next up, Daughters of the American Revolution, celebrating its 110th anniversary in just 10 days. They are also celebrating the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I by giving the city of Boise its first World War I memorial in Veterans Memorial Park. The dedication of the memorial is on Veterans Day and is one of Many projects designed to promote patriotic citizenship, historic preservation, and civic education. DAR is the largest veteran service organization in the world with more than 265,000 members. Joe, you know, the parade committee, they get asked a lot, why hold this parade earlier than Veterans Day? And there is actually some good reason for that. The committee hopes that it makes sense when we explain it to you. They first have to coordinate with the Idaho National Guard and, of course, the Mountain Home Air Force Base for their equipment and their personnel to be in the parade. And by coordinating and having the parade this weekend, it allows for service members time off to be with their family during Veterans Day. So that's why we're bringing you the Boise Veterans Day parade a little earlier this year.
It's coming up November 11th, a week from Monday. And a big thank you again to our presenting sponsor, Albertsons, for helping to make the entire 2019 Boise Veterans Parade happen. Thank you so much to Albertsons. And an interesting group right behind Albertsons, this is the 101st Weapons of Mass Destruction Civil Support Team. And they do a lot of very important work in our communities, Kim, and they train to face some of the worst situations that we could possibly face, but you need to have the people ready to take those situations head on. That's what the Civil Support Team does.
Let's go to Larry now with another special guest.
Indeed, a special guest, the 16th President of the United States, the President who actually signed the territorial papers for Idaho to become a territory, Mr. Abraham Lincoln. Thank you for being here, Mr. President.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And actually tell me a little bit about this group. This is the Civil War group. You guys you're about education, you're about really helping everyone remember history.
Correct. We portray the American soldiers during the Civil War, Idaho Territory, various events.
And actually there's events that happen out at Eagle Island, but you actually go to the schools too, don't you?
Correct. We do a lot of school visits, other visits as well.
And if teachers or organizations want you to come by, they can just contact you?
Idaho Civil War Volunteers at gmail.com.
Very easy, and that's how you can get them to come and do a special presentation so that we always remember history and, of course, the great connection between the 16th President and the state of Idaho as a territory first. Joe? Kim?
Who knew that Lincoln had an email address? That's how you reach him. It's Gmail.
He looked an awful lot like Abraham Lincoln.
But that is Abraham Lincoln. What are you talking about, Kim?
Goodness. So sorry. You know, Joe, talking about this year's theme for the Boise Veterans Parade, Letters from Home, and we had that wonderful ceremony at the top of the parade presented by Nick Roberts and Rebecca Mitchell, performing Letters from the Home in the front. We really take for granted, you know, this day and age, Joe, when we have the email, when we have the Skype, when we have Facebook. I know when my brother-in-law was deployed to Iraq, you know, we could instantaneously email or Skype him and have that connection, but we have to remember the previous wars when it took days and weeks and sometimes months to get those letters from our servicemen and women overseas. Idaho Free Trappers, a nonprofit club promoting the mountain man era of Idaho history.
And behind them, we have the Idaho National Guard Child and Youth Program. And this is an interesting program, Kim. It's a support program through the National Guard, and our youth and our military dependents, they get a really interesting experience out of this. The Idaho National Guard Child and Youth Program serves more than 20,000 military youth, and it provides resiliency, connection, resources, and support for these kids all across the state of Idaho. And you can see that they have these oversized letters here this morning, really symbolic of all the letters that are sent overseas and within the United States as well to our servicemen and women. Sometimes you can reach people by email, but sometimes, Kim, our servicemen and women are in places where they can't quite get the connection, and they too actually have to depend on letters sometimes.
A good point, Joe. And you know, there really isn't anything better than a handwritten note. Again, the lost art of that sometimes in modern times right now.
It seems to mean extra these days. You know, if you get a handwritten note from someone, you know they really went through the time.
All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break right now, but stay with us. You're watching the Boise Veterans Parade. Coming back live right after this.
And welcome back again. We, of course, live in the downtown Boise area, bringing you the Veterans Parade. And, of course, one of the great places to really remember veterans, even get a chance to see, meet veterans, and the Veterans Breakfast is coming up too, is at the Rotc Air Museum in the Nampa area. Sue Paul.
Hi, nice to see you.
Good
We're
to
so
see you
happy to be out here. Look at this wonderful crowd. What a great city.
It is. It's a great way to say, you know, I mean, we want veterans to always know how much we appreciate them, and I know you've dedicated a lot of your time in your life to doing that.
Now, 30 years this year, 30 years.
All right, the breakfast, tell me about that. Comes up a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow, it's next Sunday. It's from 8 to 12. It's the best breakfast you'll ever have in your life. We hope everybody will come out. And we're going to have a lot of entertainment there. Come on out at 8 o'clock, 7:30, maybe get in line.
Yeah, and talk to a veteran. Say thank you to them directly.
There'll be
over 400 veterans expected.
Oh, at least, probably 600 or 800
Very good.
veterans and their families will be coming out. So it's a wonderful time to tell everyone that serves our country how much we love and appreciate them.
Good to see you and John
you too.
driving away here
Okay.
today. So good to see you. Thank
We'll
you so
see you
much.
next Sunday.
All right, thank you for all that you do for veterans as well. All right, Kim, Joe?
If you haven't been to the Rotc War Museum in Nampa, it's a must-go here in the Treasure Valley. Excuse me, the Rotc. What did I say?
It's a cold morning. It's okay. Our
The
mouths are a
Rotc,
little
excuse
frozen
me.
this morning.
Well, right behind the Rotc Air Museum out of Nampa, a beautiful place, we have the 145th Brigade Support Battalion, which is headquartered out of Lewiston. They have units in Post Falls and Boise as well. And the battalion provides logistical and field support for the 116th Combined Arms Combat Brigade. The Field Litter Ambulance, which is called the FLA, is part of our Boise unit, which provides immediate medical care for soldiers in need.
Listening now to the Coal Valley Christian Band, led by drum major Rylan Amsden. Coal Valley Christian Band, they are grateful for the sacrifices soldiers and their families make to preserve our freedoms. Let's listen in.
Special good morning and thank you to the Treasure Valley Blue Star mothers who are out here this morning. Those Blue Star moms are moms who now have or have had in the past children honorably serving in the U.S. Armed Services. We are a nonprofit, they tell us, organization with support, and they support each other and their children while promoting patriotism, and they actually originally formed during World War II. Kim?
The Boise Police Department Color Guard marching ahead of the 124th Fighter Wings Logistics Readiness Squadron, which is represented by an aircraft refueling truck and support vehicles. Last year, the squadron pumped more than 3 million gallons of jet fuel.
Wow. You think about all the support vehicles and all the specialties that our servicemen and women deal with. You know, we think about the planes and the tanks, but there's so much that goes into making sure those run properly.
And of course, this morning and all mornings, dedicated and honoring the sacrifice and the service of our veterans.
And you can see the Ada County Sheriff's Office on hand this morning. Sheriff Stephen Bartlett from the ACSO. Of course, you see their men and women throughout our community helping with whatever need be. And of course, a lot of police officers and sheriff deputies around our state, former military veterans.
We'll take another quick commercial break and we'll be back with more of Boise Veterans Parade right after this. And good morning. Welcome back live in downtown Boise for the Boise Veterans Parade.
This morning we're joined by the Ada County paramedics. And they have, of course, served the residents of Ada County for a long time, since 1975, and their expertise and genuine concern for the health and lives of all Ada County residents helped shape their philosophy, which they tell us is based on a set of values that they strongly adhere to: humanity, integrity, trust, excellence, and stewardship.
Behind the Ada County paramedics, it wouldn't be a parade without these little miniature vehicles. I always look forward to that when I was a little girl. Alongside parades, the Shriners. El Cora Shrine, of course, a fraternal body representing men from the Masonic bodies and Shriners of southern Idaho. Their mission includes being the premier fraternal organization for men of good character, providing good quality programs, service fun, and camaraderie. Improvement through leadership, education, moral values, and involvement. And of course, they're serving children and community through our great philanthropy, the Shriners Hospital for Children. They do so much for our community.
And behind those special Shriner cars, the U.S. Naval Reserve. And there's a Navy presence here in Boise, more than 180 reserve personnel. They tell us they conducted more than 400 military funerals. So thank you to the U.S. Navy Reserve, and thank you for your service. This is the Union Veterans Council. They bring working class veterans together to speak out on the issues that impact them most, especially they tell us the need for good jobs and a strong, fully funded and staffed VA. Additionally, they tell us that they hold private enterprise and they have elected officials accountable for their words and actions. They say that they believe wholeheartedly that the ability for someone to self-identify as pro-veteran isn't determined by what lapel pin they don or which catchphrase they employ.
Idaho Power is a proud sponsor of the Veterans Day Parade. They'd like to thank all veterans for their selfless service and sacrifice. Idaho Power's goal is to provide 100% clean energy by 2045, building on its long history as a clean energy leader that provides reliable service at affordable prices.
Boy, you can still hear those Civil War guys in the distance there with their muskets. You know, the Idaho Air National Guard is the reserve of the Air Force and is headquartered here in Boise, Idaho. The Idaho Air National Guard supports state and federal missions and includes the 124th Fighter Wing and its A-10 aircraft, as well as other specialized units. The Air National Guard, you can feel their presence here in the Treasure Valley. They work hard to serve our community, not only here at home, but abroad as well. And I know earlier this year, they actually had a huge training mission out in California. They really got to get some great experience out there.
City. The City Cards float depicts the use of V-mail to send letters from home. Of course, the theme of this year's Boise's Veterans Parade. The float, championed by City, salutes Employee Network, which works to support recruiting, mentor, leadership, and community outreach programs for veterans and their families.
Well, I hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning, and thank you for joining us here at the Boise Veterans Parade. We are going to step aside, but join us back here live from the Capitol in only minutes.
Welcome back to the Boise Veterans Parade. You're just seeing the last glimpse there of the M1 Abrams main battle tank. Of course, that was the 2nd Battalion, 116th Armored Brigade combat team, the Idaho Army National Guard, providing short notice readiness and combat ready forces in support of our state, our nation, and our allies. They're headquartered in Caldwell, but they've got units in Emmett, Nampa, and Boise.
And you're taking a live look now at the Boise Benched Lions, founded in 1917. The Lions Club prioritizes sight, hearing, diabetes, youth hunger, environment, seniors, veterans, pediatric cancer. They take a lot of care about the community, and they serve more than 70 cities in southern Idaho. Each club determines its local priorities and Lions Club priorities. Also, they concentrate on issues of public interest, nonpartisan, and non-secular. They say they want to promote good government and good citizenship. Thank you to the Lions Club for being out here this morning.
And a lion with the Lions
And
Club.
a lion with the Lions Club, of course. I've always loved their insignia. I love their stamp. Check out this, the USS Growler. Also with some of those letters from home. That one dated 1942, really a throwback, Kim. You remember a time in our country, as we talked about earlier, where letters, that was the way you communicated with your loved ones that were overseas serving.
And a float by Carrington College, offering associate degree programs and certificate courses. They're proud to be a part of the Boise Veterans Day Parade, and this is their 3rd year participating. Their letters from home float representing nursing at its finest.
You know, one of these next floats here, you can see in the distance, it's going to be hard to miss. Look at the size of that mailbox, Kim. This is Boise State Construction Management Association. A huge thanks, they say, to the Veterans Day Parade Committee in Boise State. Similar to the flag raising at Iwo Jima, this group says that, quote, we are raising the mailbox to our troops in hopes that no matter where they are, they always get their letters from home. BSU Construction Management Association would like to say thank you to our veterans for the sacrifices they've made for our country.
Following up that big mailbox, the 1st Battalion of the 183rd Army Aviation Regiment. The battalion's mission is to conduct air assault missions to extend the tactical reach of the maneuver commander, negate effects of terrain, seize key nodes, and achieve surprise to provide air movement of personnel, equipment, and supplies in support of both federal and state missions. The men and women of the 1st Battalion of the 183rd Army Aviation Regiment.
Well, Kim, you can't have a parade in downtown Boise without a giant potato. This is from the Idaho Potato Drop. Of course, that's the famous glow-tato. It'll be dropping in a matter of weeks here for New Year's Eve 2020. They tell us it's a free and charitable event. They always make it a point to be involved in local nonprofits. They work with the Ride for 22 and the Wyankin Foundation. They tell us they help to support the local nonprofits that provide aid to our veterans. So thank you to the Idaho Potato Drop.
Following the potato, Garden City Mayor John Evans. And riding behind him is Mountain Home Mayor Rich Sykes. I want to listen in now to what's coming up next.
Where we come from, so we tell them, we are Timberline, we are Boise, we are Borah, Rotc program. Everywhere we go, people want to know. People want to know who we are.
Look at that representation. This group getting a standing ovation from those alongside the parade route this morning. The Borah High School Junior Rotc Battalion, led by Cadet Major Schwindelman and Sergeant Major Essman. The unit is made up of cadets from Borah, Boise, Timberline, and Capitol High Schools. That gets me kind of going this morning hearing that.
It's exciting. I mean, these young men and women that decide at an early age they want to serve our country and then they follow through with it. What determination at a young age.
Again, getting a standing ovation from the crowd here along Jefferson Street in downtown Boise. Let's go now to Larry with another special guest.
Thank you very much, Kim. And yeah, this is Shirley Hand with Wreaths Across America, which is a very important fundraising organization.
Absolutely. We raise funds for the wreaths at the cemetery, and every year it increases so much, and we really need the contributions, to make sure we get one on each headstone,
Each one of the headstones for the veterans, and it's a way of just honoring and never forgetting what the veterans did.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that place is growing so fast up there, every year it demands more and more, so we really appreciate people helping us out.
How do people help you out?
Well, they buy the wreaths, and the way it works, if you buy 2, you get the 3rd one free. They're only $15. They ship them in from New Hampshire, and it's at every cemetery across the United States now. So,
Shirley, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for veterans as well.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, Kim, Joe.
A big thank you to that organization, Larry. My brother buried at Arlington National Cemetery, and when we can't get there, it's comforting to know that others have and that are thinking of him and all of the men and women who've served by laying a wreath there during the holidays. It means a lot.
Well, you can hear these guys from miles away, Kim. It's the Intermountain chapter of the Harley's owner group, the Hogs. Hog has been in existence since 1985, the local chapter since 1989. They tell us that they are people of all walks of life enjoying our country's freedom. All decked out this morning with American flags all over those Harley Davidsons.
The rumble of the Hogs.
The rumble. That'll wake you up on a Saturday morning. Well, we are going to step aside. You're watching live here from downtown Boise, the Boise Veterans Parade. It continues live after this. A crisp Saturday morning here in downtown Boise. Thank you for joining us for the Boise Veterans Parade presented by Albertsons.
It's been a beautiful morning so far. We're certainly glad that you're joining us to show your support, your love of all the veterans who have served our state and our country.
The community out here supporting our veterans this morning, like Miss Idaho International 2019, Megan Smith. And you can see just behind her, there's some pups on the parade route. We're going to tell you about them in just a minute.
This must be the Go Team Therapy Crisis and Airport Dogs. They're a local group of volunteers with trained and certified therapy dogs providing weekly volunteers at the Boise VA, providing support to armed forces through Red Cross.
Some hardworking dogs.
Following the dogs, the 116th Brigade Engineer Battalion providing engineer support to the 116th Cavalry Brigade Combat Team. It's headquartered in Twin Falls with units in Mountain Home, Moscow, Grangeville, Orofino, and Boise.
And right on their tail, the Fairmont and River Glen Junior High School bands. Let's take a listen. Fairmont Junior High Band is under the direction of Eric Larson, and that River Glen Junior High Band under the direction of Matt Patterson.
And we have the Mayor of Star, Chad Bell, riding in a nice blue Corvette this morning.
And I know that our Larry Gebert is standing by on the parade route. Larry, who you got?
It is Tammy DeVere, the mayor of Meridian. And Tammy, you've been a long-time supporter of veterans.
I sure have. And in fact, I usually should be driving my veteran, but this time he said he had to drive.
You probably could have been your last time to drive him.
I know. He took that away, but I'm honored to be with him and honored to be in this parade.
It's really good to see you out here today. We certainly enjoy it, and thank you for all that you do and the city of Meridian does for veterans.
Thank you. I appreciate their service so I can serve too.
Very good. Well, thank you, Tammy. Have a good day.
Larry. Okay.
All right, Joe, Kim?
Tammy, she's, of course, Mayor Tammy, referencing that she will be done as Meridian mayor at the end of the year. We have an election coming up on Tuesday, and over the years, I know she's been involved in this parade, so thank you to Mayor Tammy for really what she's done for our community, and I also know that veterans have a special place in her heart.
We have a couple of Corvettes coming by right now.
Oh, you can hear that one, Kim. That was just for you.
As if on cue.
No matter what the vehicle that comes across us this morning, whether it's from someone's front lawn or if it's a military vehicle or it's an old school one, American flags everywhere this morning, and you really got to think about what that means to the veterans here this morning, especially when we talk about the veterans like from Vietnam, who when they came back to the United States, it's no secret the reception they got was not very positive, but all these years later, you can thank a veteran, you can thank a Vietnam vet, it'll mean just as much as it would have back then.
And Joe, I try to stop anyone I see with a hat depicting the service or the conflict or war that they were in. I always try to stop and thank them for their service and try to get my kids to do the same thing. Some Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts coming down the parade route right now.
This is Troop 97 out of Boise, Kim. And we also have Cub Scout Pack 33 here.
Chartered by the First Presbyterian Church, they focus on outdoor adventure, fun, and service to the community.
Some of those Boy Scouts look a little cold, Kim. I think they should have worn long sleeves.
And this year, the Boy Scouts and Cub Scout Troops 100, they're marching together. And you see there on your screen an old world, excuse me, it's a cold morning with my mouth, a World War I biplane. That's wonderful for them to take the time to maybe make that and bring that along to the float.
Looks like it's close to ready to fly.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I hear the Girl Scouts.
Not to be outdone by the Boy Scouts, indeed. We have Girl Scout troops from all around the Treasure Valley marching today, including troops 567, 76, 467, and Service Unit 55, serving 300 girls. Girl Scout troops from the Treasure Valley. Is it cookie time yet, Joe?
I was just thinking, I know, what is it, February is when the forms go out? Of course, thank you to everyone who joined us this morning, like this family. It was a little cold this morning, but always an important Saturday morning. The Veterans Parade here in Boise. And as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, Veterans Day coming up November 11th. That's a week from Monday. And we know
that guy's staying warm.
He's very warm. We know the parade's a little early. It is every year. We want to let the families really spend time with their families on proper Veterans Day. This is the American Heritage Girls. This organization's mission, they tell us, is building women of integrity through service to God, family, country, and community. Thank you so much to the American Heritage Girls out here this morning with their oversized letters. Again, that is the theme of our parade this year, Letters from Home.
And the Meridian Lions Rodeo Royalty, a horse unit representing the Meridian Lions Club. Beautiful horses there.
Just a nice trot down Jefferson Street on a Saturday morning. You can see deep in the distance there on your screen, you can see the Idaho Military Vehicle Restoration Society. Now, this is an important group. They're an association of patriotic Americans who support causes and preserve and enjoy vintage military vehicles and equipment. And it's groups like these, Kim, that really keep our living history alive. You can really see these vehicles preserved. You can always take a look, a snapshot of history at museums and different shows and events throughout our community. Living history. Does not get cooler than that.
I agree, Joe. I agree. Coming up behind them, we have the Gowan Field Fire Department. The Idaho Air National Guard Fire Department services Gowan Field and surrounding areas with fire and EMS services. It is the current and multiple-time winner of the National Guard Small Fire Department of the Year Award. Congratulations to them for that.
You know, Kim, I hear it in the distance, and I know they're on their way. I think we have a flyover that's about to come right in front of the Capitol here. I think these are two Black Hawk helicopters here, the 1st Battalion, 183rd Army Aviation Regiment. They're closing our parade with these Black Hawk helicopters.
Wow.
There they go.
Wow.
And here, marching up at the end of our parade, is Boise Fire Chief Dennis Doan and the Boise firefighters that serve our community here. Kim, you see that big American flag hanging over their shoulders there, held up by two Boise Fire Department trucks. And some more of the old school firefighter feel behind. And in the distance there, of course, one of the most famous fire trucks you can spot in the City of Trees. The Boise State Broncos fire truck with flames and all. See a lot of people standing up from their cold seats to take pictures of this spectacle on game day.
Look at that old fire truck. 1927 it says on its side.
Wow. Looks like that's #1 right there from BFD. It looks like there's a young man at the front of that.
Is that a mini Mark Johnson up there?
Well, Kim, another opportunity for us to say thank you. Thank you to the women and men that have served our country all around the world as we come closer to Veterans Day, a week from Monday. If you see somebody out there wearing a veteran's hat, if you meet a veteran, say thank you. It'll mean a lot.
We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll come back to wrap up the Boise Veterans Parade.
Well, thank you for joining us here in downtown Boise for the 2019 edition of the Boise Veterans Parade. Actually, we're getting a second flyover there.
Flyover,
there they go.
Blackhawks going by again.
Well, that's a perfect way to end the parade there as our photographer Logan shows you that Blackhawk flyover. Larry, a beautiful morning as always.
It was a great morning. It was a lot of it was really nice to see everybody who turned out. You know, with a little bit colder temperatures than what we're used to for the Veterans Parade. It was great. A lot of folks turned out. I think everybody had a great time. A lot of smiles, a lot of cheering, a lot of people getting a chance even to shake hands and say thank you to a veteran. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, but let's not let it be just for this one day,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Let it continue every day of the year. Of course, Veterans Day coming up November 11th. The committee holding it a little earlier, this parade, so that the men and women of our military services can be with their families and participate in other Veterans Day activities. So we thank you at home for joining us for the Boise Veterans Parade. All right. Have a good morning.